What's going on, YouTube? Today I'm here to show you how to do front brakes and rotors on this 2006 Nissan Pathfinder. Now this is going to apply to a lot of different year models, but this is specifically for this year. Anyways, enough talk, let's get started. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Let's do this. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you leave the steering wheel unlocked by turning the key to the accessory position so you can turn your wheel out. Because when you turn your wheel out, you can work with it a lot better. Second thing you're going to do is take a 14mm. You can use a wrench or you can use a ratchet, whatever you have at home. And break loose the bottom bolt. Spin it out like that. Let's go ahead and reverse it. Swivel your caliper up. You don't have to take the top bolt out. Most floating rotors and caliper designs, you can just take the bottom bolt out. Pull it out like that, lean it to the side. Now take note in your brake pads. I'm changing those clips anyway, so it doesn't matter if they fall. They're wearing pretty evenly. So as long as they're wearing evenly, you don't have an issue with the caliper or the slides itself. Because sometimes on these, especially on these dual piston calipers, you'll have one piston start sticking, especially when they get a lot of miles on them. And you'll have like a slope where it wears kind of like a ski slope. That's when you need to investigate your slides. If they're dry, grease them up. If these don't push back, if one pushes back easy and the other one don't push back, you're going to need a caliper, or you can rebuild it, but nobody rebuilds calipers anymore. Second thing you're going to do is take a 19. I already have on my gun. Now these bolts are pretty tight, so you want to use a breaker bar if that's all you have at home. Set your bracket aside. Go ahead and reverse that too. Now if your rotor doesn't come right off, just hit it a couple times with a hammer on the back side of it. Put you a lug nut on. Strap it with a lug nut, that way when you hit it, it doesn't fly off and land on your foot. That doesn't feel good. I already got my new parts. I've already verified they're right because I've already done the other side. Slam that bad boy on. Now to make installation easier, because these rotors, like Hondas and a lot of your Nissans and stuff, have a screw that keeps the rotor flush up against the hub. You just put a lug nut on there. It makes installation easier. Go ahead and put your bracket back on. Snug it down. About as tight as you would tighten a lug nut, around probably like 100 to 150 foot-pounds will be fine. Now you want to check your slides. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. Do a little bit of caliper, high temperature grease. They don't have to be brake grease. You can use just regular automotive grease for wheel bearings and stuff, as long as it's high temperature. Grease your slides up a little bit. Make sure this boot goes back over that notch because it seals out moisture. Now since when we pulled the caliper, the slide's still bolted to it, so I'll grease that after I push the piston back. Now you don't have to have this tool. You can buy these from Harbor Freight for like 30 bucks. Or you can use a big C-clamp and just wrap it around the back of the caliper with an old brake pad. I don't have to really use an old brake pad with this because it covers the whole area. Notice everything's going back nice and smooth. Alright, when it stops moving, it's all the way back. Alright, if you got a good set of pads, you'll get new clips. I'm using Akibonos. You can use whatever you want, but keep in mind, cheap brake pads squeak. Take your pad. Now that doesn't matter on these which way they go. But if one has a warning indicator on it, put the warning indicator on the back side. Generally the warning indicator always goes on the back side. This one's wanting to fight me a little bit. There we go. Nice and smooth. Now take a little bit of that grease again. Just wipe it around your finger. I got gloves on, so I ain't got to worry about washing my hands. And these guys right here. Now I know when I pulled the pads off, they didn't have these, because whoever did the brakes last didn't put those back on. But these little springs right here, if you notice, you let off these pads, my hands are slippery. I don't want to let off though, because if I let off the pads, it's going to go flying out. No, maybe not. Not until you get both of them in. Alright, come on now. Quit messing with me. Now you're going to want to hold these pads, because notice if I let off, they're going to spring out. Those springs keep the pads from rubbing the rotors at all times. It just increases the brake pad life. Notice they spring out. Grab your 14. Tighten her back down. Just like that. I'm going to check my top bolt too, because I don't know who worked on it last. Make sure you pull your lug nut out before you pick your wheel up, because you have to put your wheel right back down. I don't know about you, but my back don't like picking the wheel up twice or bending over and picking up something I dropped. When you've been doing this for over 20 years, it takes a toll on your back. Anyways, enough complaining. I'm just whining. If y'all haven't subscribed to my channel already, please subscribe. Hope y'all have a good day. Check like down below. Peace out, YouTube.